Hello everybody and welcome to parksbros, it's Drew here, and welcome back to our travels in Japan. With that being said, if you haven't seen the previous videos, make sure to watch them before this one. So, without further ado, well, good morning from the Hilton Tokyo Bay. I am still dealing with jet lag, that's for dang sure. I'm so tired right now. But we're heading into the city. We're gonna take a ramen class, which is gonna be really fun. But we just missed the first monorail of the day, so hopefully it's not more than 10 minutes behind. Otherwise, we're gonna have to be sprinting through Tokyo Station, so it's gonna be a fun time. After waking up at 6:45, we were definitely feeling tired, but at least the sleep we got was more consistent than the night before. We started our journey into the city with the second monorail in service for the day before transferring to Maihama Station and riding the Keio line into Tokyo Station. It was deja vu since we had traveled the same route about 16 hours earlier. This time, we knew what we were doing. There was no chance of us getting lost as we made our way to Platform 5 for the Yamanote Line train, going clockwise. 20 minutes, 9 stops, and 210 yen later, we made it to Meguro Station. Located on the eastern edge of Meguro City, we had about a 10-minute walk ahead of us, which revealed something absolutely spectacular. We've officially made it to one of the most pretty stops I've seen here yet. This is Meguro City, and we're currently going to a ramen class here, which is going to be amazing. But I couldn't help but stop at the Meguro River on the way and look at all of these amazing cherry blossoms. It's amazing that they're still here pretty late this year. Unfortunately, there's going to be rain when we get out of the class, so I don't know if we're going to be able to see them too well, but it's also cool to see kind of an infamous landmark, that Castle Hotel, supposedly getting a renovation in 2007. Reality hit me a bit here. The hundreds of mixed-use buildings, the small and accessible streets, and the calmness of Sunday morning. I'm in Tokyo. It's funny looking back, but just this small walk was a highlight for the entire trip for me. Speaking of highlights, the next 4 hours was challenging, insightful, and most of all fun. We found ourselves in a smaller building inside an Italian restaurant by night, but a ramen cooking class by day. This is Baba Ramen, a class that took us through every step of the ramen making process. We donned our aprons and hachimaki and got to work. I kid you not, the first thing we did was take a hammer to pork bones and wash chicken meat. We made our noodles from scratch, torched chashu, and made gyoza that was to die for. Beside an Austrian couple, a South African couple, and a group of Chicagoans, the world didn't seem so large. The ramen was absolutely delicious, and I'd take the class again or any other they offer in a heartbeat. If you're curious on pricing, it was around 17,500 yen, or about $120 US, which, yes, it's more on the expensive side, but this was a hands-on class that went on for over 4 hours, and we got a cookbook at the end. A huge thank you goes out to our senseis, Jay, Leo, and Aaron, for patiently walking us through this complex and artful process. Well, class went a little longer than I expected, but at least we missed the brunt of the rain. If the walk there was spectacular, the walk back to the station was out of this world. The light rain gave everything a sparkle and even turned parts of the river pink from the loose and falling sakura. I still can't get over how pretty it all was. After making it back to the station, we hopped on the first subway of our trip. The Mita line took us for a 10-minute ride with 5 stops as we disembarked at Onariman Station in Minato City. This ride was about 220 yen, or $1.50. Heading up into the fresh air, I was curious where one of Tokyo's most prominent landmarks was, but then I saw its reflection. Tokyo Tower, standing tall and proud in the cityscape. Our next destination for the day had us walking at its base. Unfortunately for us, time was not on our side again, so we sadly didn't get the chance to go into it, putting my streak of visiting Eiffel Tower-like landmarks on hold. However, our path would take us through Zojoji, a 400-year-old Buddhist temple. With the rain appearing a little stronger now and Tokyo Tower looming above, we walked through the grounds slowly to take it all in. Something I had no idea about was the fact that the Tokugawa Shogun Cemetery was located just behind the temple. History time with Drew. If that name doesn't ring a bell, the Tokugawa shogunate reunified Japan in the 1600s after the Warring States period and ushered in a new era, known as the Edo or Tokugawa period. Tokugawa shoguns, leading the country from the city of Edo, pushed for urbanization, economic growth, and bolstered arts and entertainment. This all happened while keeping to a strict social order and staying isolationist within foreign policy. Much of what you think of when you think pre-modern Japan stems from this time, with some of the most influential works of the time being Nagaya, Kabuki, and mass-produced art such as ukiyo-e from artists like Hokusai. If that doesn't quite ring the bell, think of the Great Wave. This seeming golden age for Japan's arts and culture collapsed due to social class upheaval following Japan's forced reopening to the world at the hands of the US Armada. This is when the capital of Japan was officially moved from Kyoto to Edo, which we now know as Tokyo. Don't worry, we'll be visiting the Imperial Palace in a handful of days if you want some more history, but now it's officially time for us to head into a world without borders. TeamLab is a group of artists that have made multiple large-scale art installations around the world. In Tokyo, there's a couple, including the one we were about to be transported to, Borderless. Upon first seeing the exhibit's entrance, it starts to have you doubt what you're seeing. As you enter the first room, a safety video plays in the only part of the room not covered by black carpet. Following the safety video, all I could think was, am I being invited to a cult? The stairs to the main chamber didn't help that thought leave my mind, but as soon as we stepped in, giant rooms filled with flowers and floating petals from floor to ceiling. Different scents, pathways, and colors were everywhere. The closer we got to some of these paths, the more influence they gained from the rooms ahead. Groups of butterflies, paintbrush strokes, and even a frog or two gave us a tiny glimpse of what this exhibit was truly about. Following the butterflies, we found ourselves surrounded by them when we heard some music from the next door. A cavalcade of frogs and men were walking on by. After finding ourselves lost in the many winding and dark hallways, we came to a dead end with a tea shop on one side and the only seats in the entire building on the other. Our legs were hating us at this point. Standing for as long as we did during the ramen class and walking up the hillside past Tokyo Tower had begun to take its toll. Before we knew it, this quiet room filled with mirrors changed into another flowing piece of art. We spent 15 minutes in this room, but it kept showing different things, including some of the art we had a glimpse of from earlier. The next room was hidden behind a corner and a tarp. It housed giant cubes in a mirror-filled room. It's impossible to show what this piece and others felt like in person without a 3D camera, but before we knew it, the flowers from the first room greeted us inside of here. This is when we started to spot some hand-drawn fish. Following them down the hallway, we not only saw a massive room that honestly made me a little motion sick, but a room filled with creations made by the guests' own hands. There were so many fun references, especially to Pokemon and Star Wars. I needed in on the fun. I got drawing a swordfish, with small mirror balls running past us. I was a bit confused by that, but trying to convey speed as best I could with the pastels we had, I drew out my swordfish. Before long, we witnessed our creations swimming amongst the hundreds of others. Getting lost again, we found out where the balls came from. This is when I really started to enjoy my time here. Seeing the connectivity of even the small drawing area to unrelated artwork was just such a cool concept. I was beginning to feel completely immersed. I was looking for new rooms, running in circles, touching the walls to reveal more of the artwork, and even dancing with the frogs we saw from before. Following them from their place of origin, we ran into some rabbits and my favorite piece in the exhibit. This lily pad room was stunning, with multiple paths making you wade through the art itself. I could have stood in that room alone for hours. Walking down the same hallways, we were finding new entrances and more art to see and even feel. The last piece we found was the only one with a line. A room filled with hanging spheres and mirrors all around, including a two-way mirror so we could see the art before experiencing it ourselves. It had been around 2 hours at this point, and we were pretty confident we saw every room that was available for the day. We walked back to say goodbye to our little fishes and made our way out. Personally, I will say this is an exhibit that I don't feel the need to go back and see again, as even though I really enjoyed my time in this art installation, I would much prefer to go check out the other one that they have in Tokyo called Planets. But if this idea for an art exhibit really interests you, or heck, if you just really like projection mapping, I would recommend it. However, definitely buy your tickets in advance, and the prices can vary between 3,600 yen all the way up to 5,600 yen depending on when you go. In US, that's about $25 to $40. With how we were feeling physically, it was so nice to have a subway station connected directly to the mall that Borderless is in. Using the Hibiya line, we traveled from Kamiyacho Station to Hachibori Station to hop on the trusty Keio line back to my Hama Station and Disney property. This was about 180 yen or $1.25, and there were 7 stops on a 15-minute ride before transferring to the Keio line train, which was a little bit more expensive to make back to my Hama station, but it was 230 yen or about $1.60. I can't remember if I was more excited to ride the Duffy monorail or relieved that it was our final ride of the day, but regardless, it was cool to see the monorail car empty.
Stop is Bayside Station. Please disembark here for the Tokyo Disney Resort official hotel.
I don't really remember much of the whole travel experience back. I'm in pain and I'm loopy. Yeah, not my greatest moment. We made a quick stop at
Lawson Hall.
Yep. Anyway, I got to try Pocari Sweat for the first time, which I found myself preferring the less citrusy Aquarius I had at the zoo the day before. The dorayaki was amazing, and the pudding...
The jiggle factor's insane.
...was just okay. Falling asleep was almost too easy, as I passed out before the lights of the Tokyo Sea Life Park could even turn off. There was one real benefit to falling asleep this early, though. Our first visit to Disney Sea was going to happen in the blink of an eye. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching this episode of our adventures in Tokyo. There's so much more to come with our first visit to the Disney parks up next. Make sure to subscribe to see that and more, and stay tuned for some merch soon. Thank you all again, and until the next one, we'll see you on the next ride.